Ben, welcome again
Hell yeah.
to Nova Scotia, Canada.
Of course, second time.
Second time, and you enjoyed the first time so much that you're back here.
Of course, of course. Well, you know, it's also good. Our good friends in 3 Inches of Blood, you know, we tour across Canada with them, so I have to give a lot of thanks to them, too, for bringing us to different areas. You know, like on this tour, we went to Charlottetown,
Right.
Prince Edward Island, which we've never been before, so it's definitely cool that, you know, to have a band that's from Canada and has been across Canada numerous times and could, you know, give us a chance to come across here with them and everything and venture off into new territories.
How's the economy doing as touring, you know, nowadays?
Economy?
You know, it's different than 3 years ago when I talked to you, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is, you know, but I guess you kind of adapt to things. You kind of sort it out, you know. Gas, of course, went up, you know, in price, and, you know, I guess you just maneuver things and you just sort it out.
Yeah.
It's not a big scheme to it. We don't have this crazy, like, accounting scheme that we have going on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess, you know, we're still out here and we're still in the van and we're doing it, so I guess we kind of doing something right. Yeah, so we're just kind of going with it, you know. I guess just like anything else, you know, in everyday life, you just kind of maneuver around the financial positions and stuff like that and sort it out to the best to make things happen internally within the band.
Yeah. In this genre of music, would you say it's getting, you know, more popular with the evolution of Facebook, because you guys are starting to grab bigger numbers each time you're playing gigs, you know, with the fans and stuff?
You know, I think it is that, but you know, touring's a big deal though too. I think, you know, even, you know, despite Facebook, the internet, all that kind of stuff, I think too, I've always been a firm believer of touring and getting in front of people and building an audience like that. I think that helps too. You know, I mean, yeah, you can go look at videos online and everything, but it's not as impactful as it is going to a show and witnessing the band, you know. So they are the means of all that, you know, and you know, I'm not gonna totally say that it's like it hasn't assisted, because it probably has in some way or another, you know. Things are different now, you know, too. Like, there's so many more bands within, you know, within extreme music in general. When I say extreme music, I kind of cover it as a whole terrain, from like punk to metal, hardcore, thrash, you know. I just kind of group it into one big thing. But, you know, you have so many bands out there that you're I guess, kind of competing, because there's so many of them touring and everything. So, and I think too, like maybe within the last year, you've seen a lot of bands tour a little less, maybe because of the financial situation with fuel and the cost of things and stuff like that. So, you know, and we've always been really tight internally on how things run. You know, we are a little crazy, and, you know, we all drink here and there and have a good time, but at the same time there is an essence of keeping things in order to make the band function as well. So we have that kind of, I guess, balance in a sense.
And now with the new album, you guys are bringing in new songs into the tour, you know? Because the catalog's getting very
more extensive and everything.
And this pleasing the audience, I'm sure, because
well, you know, right now, like, since we're still, let's see, Blood for the Master's been out a little over a year. It came out February last year. But, you know, there was a lot of areas we didn't hit, like right now, of course, that we never hit during touring earlier stages of it. So, within the set, we're playing a lot of stuff from Blood for the Master, and then we're kind of incorporating things from other records, from the first record, the second record, and onward and trying to manipulate that set. And because too that us and 3 Inches of Blood it's like a co-headlining tour. We're able to play like 50 minutes to maybe an hour, depending on what's going on for the evening, instead of like a 30, 45 minute set. And then you're kind of cutting a lot of things and putting in things that you really need to put into a set. So, but definitely our set consists of a lot of songs from Blood for the Master, just to kind of get that record, you know, in there, get people familiar with it and have them know, you know, because even though, you know, we're playing another area that we might have hit before, or the record's been out, you know, there's still a lot of people out there because there's so many records that come out that haven't heard the latest record, you know. So you just gotta kind of, it's like you just keep pushing at it, you keep putting it out there for people.
Ben, something that's interesting too, bands in the extreme genre are starting to make the Billboard charts, you know, now. And would you say that's a positive thing? Even though sales are lower, but, you know, at least historically, the bands are getting marked, you know.
Well, I mean, definitely, charts. You know, you see a lot, you know, the younger audience out there, it's, the whole metal thing's been, I mean, to me, like, extreme metal has always had its niche in there through time, you know, and they've had points where some people have kind of made the comment of, you know, metal was dead or anything like that. It was never really dead. I think sometimes it just goes, the underground scene is always there. It's always been there. From when I was a kid into metal till now. And there's younger kids, and they're coming across new bands that nobody even knows about yet, you know, like in the mainstream.
Right.
So I think within that, that's always changing, always evolving, always taking the next step further. And it's always there. I just think it's just kind of like intervals where it slopes. And it does it with all styles of music. If you look at like hip hop, there was a point where hip hop peaks and then it kind of drops back down, you know, and it's the same with metal. It's at a peaking point and then it'll kind of go back down, but it doesn't die out. It just goes back down and it kind of restructures, and people like come up with new ideas, new ways to approach it, new ways to, you know, do songs and things like that. So it comes out in a different essence, not completely taking a huge jump in being different, but expands the extremity of it and keeps it going and moving forward.
Let's say in 100 years from now, where is this?
800 years?
100 years, like
100 years.
Where is this music scene gonna go? You know,
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I really can't answer that, man. I mean, you know, with the way things are, and too, because you have points where you revisit. You know, like right now too, like the thrash kind of thing is kind of revived,
right?
And a lot of people are into the whole thrash thing. And there's younger bands out there doing the whole thrash element, and they're bringing that kind of idea back. And they're reinventing it, doing different things for it. So it's always about kind of like maybe going back to something and taking it and redoing it in a different way, or approaching it in a different way and kind of bring it back out again. I have to say, it's definitely hard to be completely original nowadays.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands that are really original really step off the edge and do something that's out of the ordinary. And sometimes it works and the band, you know, evolves as this like unique thing that's kind of stepped the progression of things further, but sometimes it just doesn't work and the band just kind of goes to the wayside. Sometimes they go to the wayside and then years later people like uncover it and are like, holy shit, you know, what about this band? And they're totally non-existent anymore. They took this dive into the unknown, but then 10 years later all of a sudden they're like renewed and people are like freaking out over them, but they missed the point and they'll never get to see them, and then bands kind of build off of that block as well. So there's all these different variations that can be approached, you know, within it. And there's different, you know, different things that can come out of it.
How's the Goatwhore vinyl collections coming out? You know, because the
we have
vinyls,
okay,
you
so
know.
right now we have the first record, which is available on vinyl, and we have the new record, which is available on vinyl. I'd love to have all the records available on vinyl. It just, I guess it's a matter of time, you know, how things work out, but I would definitely like to see all the records on vinyl. And we've even actually, it's only been like in talks and everything, but we have been discussing of doing, like with the lineup we have now, we were going to take and pick like 4 songs from the first record, The Eclipse of Ages into Black, and 4 songs from Funeral Dirge, and re-record them with the lineup now.
Right.
Not do anything crazy with it, you know, totally different, but just do it with the lineup now, and record it with the means that we have now. And do like a series of like little 7-inches, and each 7-inch would have 1 song from each record on each side, and just put it out, and just, I don't know, some kind of like little collector's thing to do, but also something to kind of bring back the older material where a lot of the newer people aren't really familiar with it, kind of bring them in, and then they'll go out and source out the older records because of it. You know, who knows? It's just, you know, as being a collector of vinyl too, it's something unique, and to make like a little,
and offer a song that's not been released, or, you know, outtake or something like that.
I mean, the first 2 records are really hard to find too, so it'd be unique to kind of record them with, not the whole thing, it's just certain songs that we've kind of chose to do, and have the lineup that we have now and see how it comes out and everything. Because the thing about it is too, I love like going back to our older records and looking and seeing the evolution of the band. Right. You know, where some bands look back and they're like, oh, we don't want to play anything off of that. We despise that record, you know, we were young, we were immature, but that's, to me, that's the whole element of the building block of the band. Yeah. You know, that is where you started, and then this is where you are now. I think those elements are so much more important than even now, because you can see the evolution process, how much you've evolved as a band, musicians, you know, a person in general, because your ideas change, your influences change, and everything changes as you're going along. So I really do appreciate the older stuff a lot, and I appreciate a lot of bands' older stuff because of that too.
And you gotta respect the fans that probably die hard on certain, you know, eras.
I mean, we have fans that are like really big about the first two records, or aren't so big about the newer records, and vice versa. Aren't so big about the first records, but more into the newer records. And it's good as a balance, you know. You can't make everyone happy, you know, but at least you can kind of make people happy kind of across the board in variations.
Very well answered. Well, Ben, pleasure having you back.
Oh, that's
down
it?
here.
Hold on,
you want to go more? You guys got more tours this summer too?
Actually,
you know, lined up already.
So this we're out with 3. This thing started. We started on March 27th.
Okay.
With the Casualties for 2 weeks, and it was a little different. They're more a punk band, but it was cool to have like they're. I don't want to say punk and people get it the wrong way, but they're more of an extreme punk band. Okay. You know, they have a lot more attack to them and everything, more traditional kind of, and not like that poppy punk kind of thing. You know, but really awesome guys, really great band, and we toured with them for 2 weeks before we came into Canada in the West, and it was cool because it's interesting to see the variations of crowds within that too, like their audience, and even from city to city. Like in some cities, their audience was really accepting of us as a metal band. In some cities, not so much, depending, you know. But I think that's really unique. It didn't, you know, if we played a show and we weren't really getting a good response because they were more into the punk angle of things and didn't really dig the metal, I understand it. It's, you know, everybody has their own scheme. They have their own styles they like. But the uniqueness of going on tour with them and being involved in that kind of element is awesome as well.
Yeah.
And then, so we entered Canada and we played Vancouver on our own because 3 Inches is from there and they played a lot and they wanted to kind of take a break from hometown. And then we got with 3 Inches in Kelowna, BC, and started from there. That was on April 10th or 11th, something like that. And we go all the way till May 15th and end in New Orleans, and 3 Inches and us are out for like 5 weeks together. And after that, we're on May 19th. We're playing Mexico City with Sodom, which is
that's
an awesome
interesting name. You know, we don't hear that name often.
No. You know, and for us, that's great because I mean, we're a lot of stuff that we're built on as a band, like Celtic Frost, Venom, Bathory, Motorhead, you know, Sodom, all these older bands that we grew up with. And we've played with Celtic Frost before. We've played with Venom before. We played with Emperor. And it's like, now we can even say we played with Sodom. And, you know, that'll be an amazing experience, especially in Mexico City. I'm sure it'll be pretty fucking crazy.
That's like a big treat when you look at it. You
know,
and
we've never been to Mexico City. So there we go. We got another, like, thing, place that we've never been before, which is always an awesome experience, too.
How is it playing with Venom, you know, because Venom are legendary in their own
way. It was awesome.
You know?
Venom and Celtic Frost, they were both really amazing experiences. If, you know how, like, you have someone, I guess I want to say, like, not necessarily an idol, but you look up to because musically that was your thing, but you're afraid to kind of meet them because you've heard horror stories in the past about people meeting people in bands that they really liked and they came across the wrong way, or they had an attitude. If anything, like when we toured with both of those bands, Celtic Frost and Venom, and met like Kronos and met Tom G. Warrior, and the way they were as individuals, I think it made our interest in the bands even stronger because they were amazing people. They were amazing people, and they did not have no attitude at all. They're phenomenal individuals.
Yeah, I had pleasure interviewing Mantis and Kronos, and I mean 40-minute interviews. These guys are very.
And Kronos has a lot. I mean, Kronos, he's been around a long time. He's got a lot of good story, and that was a cool thing. One day, I remember we were at a venue early, and he was just hanging out drinking coffee. And he was telling us all these stories about the young days of Venom, and it's awesome to kind of hear that, especially from the main person, you know, in one of these bands. And the same thing with Tom G. You know, he had all these stories, and Martin Ain, of course. Yeah, they have so much history in the stories they tell, and it just like it gives you goosebumps. You know, it's crazy. But to tour with all of them is amazing as well. Yeah, definitely.
That's a good feeling, I'm sure.
And so we do the Mexico City thing with Sodom. And then in the early June, we go do a show in Puerto Rico on our own, which will be unique. That's another thing we've never done before. And then after that, we're supposed to do a fest in Denmark called Roskilde in the beginning of July. And we're also working on new stuff right now, too. So we're working on new material in between things. And we might do something in the fall. Everything's kind of up in the air at that point on what we're going to do. So.
What type of influences you looking into this new album?
I'd say that we'd probably be going into record. I don't want to say later this year because it seems like it's pressuring it, but I'd say more or less early 2014 we'd probably be going to record. So it would probably give it like a mid 2014 release or something like that.
And your influences in this is going to be basically the same, like to
yeah, pretty much. It's going to be the same. I think it'll be the proper progression of what Goatwhore's been doing to now.
Earlier when I said, 100 years from now in the history of this scene, how is speed going to end up in 100 years from now? Like when it starts being it's just one note.
Well, yeah, that's a thing that's questionable. But then too, that you lose something there. You don't want it just to be totally just like, wah, a flat line. You want some element to it. So 100 years from, who knows? Oh, you could also just be people reinventing older styles from 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So anything's possible.
Yeah. How's Wikipedia treating Goatwhore?
Wikipedia?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Wikipedia.
Okay. You don't go and check your stats and stuff like that? Like, let's say
really, man. Not really.
The information marked on that on
no,
you and stuff.
You know what? It's funny because I don't mess with like a lot of the thing. Like I don't have a Facebook page or anything like that. I don't really dig into a lot of things. I kind of like really want to. I don't read a lot of like reviews about us and stuff like that. I'd rather just be a mystery. I'd rather just go do it, have a good time, and whatever. If people want to do like reviews and things like that, then so be it. But other than that, I'm not. It's not something that I'm really. It's not like I'm scared of them or anything. I just don't. I don't know. They're kind of like they are. They are what they are. People have their opinions, and so let it be. But other than that, I'm gonna just do what I always do and check.
All right. 2013 is gonna be very busy for you guys, I'm sure, and everything's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
Further.
Yeah, like I said, it comes in different waves because you never know what exactly you're gonna be doing and everything like that. So,
brother, I got your sandwich up there.
Yeah. To do. Well, I appreciate you taking the time again, my friend.
Thank you very much, man.
And you have a great performance, as you always do.
Definitely.
And nothing more than that I can say.
Thank you, man.
All right. See you another day.